everyone, good afternoon, and welcome to Survivors and Victims Empowered, or better known and shortened as S.A.V.E. As always, I'm Jessica Plasters, the Patrick County Victim Advocate with Citizens Against Family Violence.
And I'm Sandy Dawson. I'm the Martinsville and Henry County Victim Advocate and the Sexual Violence Case Manager for Citizens Against Family Violence.
Over the last couple weeks, we've been on Series 4 talking about sexual assault of children and teens. And today's topic of discussion is recognizing and reporting child or children's sexual assault. Now, with that being said, today we have a very special guest on the show. First, I'd like to start off by thanking you for coming on the show today and helping us talk about this topic. Would you please introduce yourself and your title and a brief job description of what you do in your agency?
Okay, I'm Joan Rogers, and I'm the Director of Patrick County Department of Social Services. Okay. I do not actually supervise Child Protective Services workers. We do have a social work supervisor within our agency that does supervise our investigators. However, I have been with the Department of Social Services for over 30 years, and I have specialized when I was a social worker and or a supervisor. I specialized in child abuse, neglect, especially in sexual abuse investigations.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for being here today, Joan.
Sure, well, thank you for inviting me.
We appreciate the work that you all do, and especially since we all work together on the SARC team.
Yeah, on the same things, yes. All right. So talking about the topic of recognizing and reporting sexual assault with children, and obviously you have a lot of experience in that. Excuse me. How does a person recognize childhood sexual assault?
Okay.
Or what are the warning signs to look for?
And I'm real hesitant to tell you the warning signs. There are warning signs. However, I want the public to know that an investigation cannot be launched on a warning sign. But some of the warning signs are, and I know the public thinks, oh, when you're sexually abused, you wouldn't be sexually promiscuous. However, children that are sexually abused are often sexually promiscuous. Also, you may see signs of a child doing inappropriate behavior with smaller children, sexual behavior. Mm-hmm. They may be doing sexual behavior that is not normal for that particular age of the child. Some other warnings are, the child may have an inability to form trusting relationships. Mm-hmm. The child may have low self-esteem, compulsive lying, compulsive stealing, maybe overactive. Child may have difficulty in the school system with acting out behavior. Irrational fears. Often children will have nightmares, and people often report, the child's getting up with nightmares.
So just a lot of different behaviors.
A lot of different.
Those can be different things.
Yes.
Each child would be definitely different.
And all of those are also indicators of emotional abuse, physical abuse, neglect. So all of those do fall into the whole category of child abuse, not just child sexual abuse.
So if, what would be something that would require a call or to report a child sexual assault? What would we be looking for?
The child has actually reported some type of sexual act that an adult has done to them, to you, or to an adult. Let's give an example. If a 4 or 5-year-old would state, so-and-so is touching them on their breast or in the vaginal area, that would be considered fondling. Yes, you would report that. Now, the Department of Social Services, we only investigate reports concerning caretakers of a child.
So caretakers is not just a babysitter.
Okay, a caretaker could be a babysitter that the child has been left with. A caretaker could be a Sunday school teacher, a Boy Scout leader, anyone that a parent would entrust their child with.
Or it could be the parent.
It
Right,
could
or
be that. It could be
Or a
the
family
parent.
member.
It could be a family member, or any adult that's residing in the home. Because we look at it. If there's an adult living in the home, they are a caretaker. It could be the mother's paramour, live-in boyfriend. It could be a grandfather, an uncle, an aunt, any adult living in the home. Also, if it's a sibling, for example, that's abusing a younger sibling, we would not look at it unless that sibling is babysitting. It's a 15-year-old sibling and the parent has entrusted them to watch over the younger sibling while they're working or have gone out, but that sibling is in a caretaker role. If a sibling is sexually abusing another sibling but not in a caretaker role, then the Department of Social Services would not investigate. But we still encourage people, any issues or questions that you have, call us. If it's not a caretaker, we immediately refer it on to law enforcement.
Right.
Right. So it's still something going to be done. It's just the way
Yes,
the CPS handles it is
yes,
only within
yes,
caretaker.
Yeah. The statute of Virginia only allows us to investigate people that are in a caretaking role.
Okay. Well,
Which
I
in
think
most
that-
cases, a lot of times, all the cases or not all of them, but a lot of the cases I've worked on with children, it sadly is someone within the home, and that's
Yes,
more we see more
yes.
often.
People just kind of going into the home and randomly sexually abusing a child, that does not happen. It's usually somebody that is a very close friend to the family, an individual that is a family member. It's somebody that the child has a close relationship with, and also
Knows
the
and
family.
trusts.
Yeah,
And
knows and
established
trust.
trust between that adult.
Yeah, and that's a whole issue of, predators establish trust with the child as well as with the family. And you would never,
Be the person you least suspect.
correct. And yet it is always often, in most cases, it's somebody that the child knows.
Right.
Right.
Now, with that being said, if it was someone within the house, what would that process look like as far as once they reported and it was a CPS case as far as it being a caretaker?
Okay, and as soon as we get the call, child sexual abuse and any felony against a child is immediately put on a high priority. We must respond immediately. Not only do we start the investigation, we need to do a safety plan to make sure that if the child remains in that environment, the child is safe, and that if there's abuse going on, that the abuse is going to stop. So as soon as we get that phone call, and if it's a felony, and of course child sexual abuse is, in Patrick County, we have a team. And the investigators in the Child Protective Service unit, as well as our investigators in law enforcement, they have gone to trainings, as well as our prosecutor's office. They've gone to trainings together, and we work as a team. So as soon as that call comes in, that investigator is picking up the phone, calling law enforcement, and then calling the prosecutor's office to say, this is what we have. And we immediately start the interview process, and we begin with interviewing the child.
And that's usually where you come into
Yeah, I'm
play,
usually
too.
called after the prosecutor usually contacts me, or victim witness will contact me, and I go in and sit with the family during the interview process and explain to them the process of what's going on in the next room and what will be the possible next steps and stuff. So I'm a member of that SART team, and that works very well in Patrick County.
Yes.
We're very thankful that works that well.
And that's something that we're still working to improve our communications of here in Martinsville and Henry County. But one of the things that I do appreciate from y'all's organization is your participation on that SART team. Because that, as you know, and as Jessica has heard about, that's been several years coming for it to get to that process where it works so smoothly. But it is a good thing, and it is so helpful for the families and everything too, because once you all start that investigation, that's a scary process.
Yes.
And as you were talking with us before the show, it's very traumatizing, not
Yes.
only for that child, but for the
For the whole
family too,
family.
and to have supportive people there to help them through the whole process
Yes.
is good.
In child sexual abuse, the disclosure, when it does come out, child sexual abuse is a secret. It's a secret that the family has. And once it's disclosed, we see the family start falling apart. And of course, at the Department of Social Services, our mission is to keep families together. Children do better with family. We don't yank them out of the, people think that we yank them out of the home and put them in foster care. That's the last thing that the department will do. What we try to do is work with the family. If the perpetrator lives in the home, we usually get a protective order and immediately have that person removed from the home. And often, and of course that's entirely up to the judge. The judges will usually say they're not allowed within 100 feet of the child, they cannot communicate with the child, etc. during our investigation process, because at the Department of Social Services we have 45 days to do our investigation.
Okay.
And so law enforcement and our department, we start the investigation and we just work through it along with the prosecutor's office. And of course, the family needs to know what to expect step by step in the process, because as I said, the family's traumatized. And
Yeah.
child sexual abuse is very hard for anybody to believe that a child has been sexually abused.
Right. But
Especially
it's
your
real-
child, you just don't want to
Oh,
believe it.
yeah,
A
you
lot of
don't
families-
want to believe it. And a lot of if it's a stepfather, father, grandparent that is sexually abusing a child, the mother will immediately feel guilt. Why didn't I know this? Why didn't I protect? There's a lot of dynamics involved, and that's where the team comes in for everyone to work together to help the family
Stay
to
together.
stay together and to kind of come to terms with what has happened within the family unit.
And as you said, your goal is not necessarily just because there's been a report to pull that child out and put
No.
them in foster care. You're wanting to preserve that family
Yes.
unit and support them through that.
I mean-
so people shouldn't be afraid to report.
No. What we do, you pull the child out of the family system, you're re-victimizing that child.
Exactly.
And so what we do is if there's not a family member that can or is willing to protect the child, then we'll start searching for grandparents, aunts and uncles,
Someone
somebody
within that family.
within the family unit that the child has a close relationship with, that the child can continue to reside with.
That's awesome.
Because a lot of times pulling that child out, and putting them in foster care makes that child feel like they did something wrong. Like it was
Yes, that
their
they're
fault,
victimized. And
right.
that's why we usually take the alleged perpetrator, the
Out.
alleged abuser, we try to get, we ask the court to remove them from the situation. And we work very close with our J&D court, and it's a very, very, if we have the evidence, and that's what our job is to gather evidence along with law enforcement.
Right.
And we just firmly believe if a child has been victimized, that adult needs to be prosecuted.
Definitely agree with that.
So,
Well, ladies, if y'all don't mind, we're going to take a quick commercial break real quick, and
Okay.
when we come back, we have a few more questions to ask Miss Joan Rogers.
okay, thank
We'll
you.
be right back.
Thank you.
Shatley Springs Inn has served as a landmark destination for many decades. Travelers come to enjoy the country cooking, the famous spring water, and beautiful mountain scenery. Families and tour groups alike find the country atmosphere relaxing and reminiscent of times past. After eating a family-style meal, many guests enjoy the gift shops or take a walk around the lake. Come and see for yourself the best-kept secret in northwestern North Carolina. Daniel's Auto Glass, the mobile unit that comes to you. No job is too large or too small. Quick, easy, and affordable. Call Daniel's Auto Glass at 1-800-656-9488. Commercial, residential, and vehicle. The mobile unit is just a call away. Offices located in Oak Level across from Lucky 2 Market on 220. Daniel's Auto Glass, when only the best will do. BTW 21, your neighborhood network, the only local channel with a certified meteorologist. Join Kip Wallace and Jamie Singleton at 6 and 11.
For over 80 years, Martinsville First Savings Bank has called Martinsville home. In this time, we've gotten to know our customers personally. Our interest is in Martinsville, in the people and businesses of Martinsville. And because we're a part of the community ourselves, we have a stake in the people around us.
Though we've changed our name, our goal is the same, to always put Martinsville first.
S.A.V.E. Electric, a trusted name for over 34 years. For prompt, professional, and friendly service, call their Martinsville office at 638-2600.
My dad was a great guy. He did everything for us, even though he was a pretty pitiful cook. But he was the best father a little girl could ever hope for. When Dad died, we wanted a service as special as he was. We found a funeral home that even let us bring in old photos and play his favorite song. They helped us remember his life, and that helped us get on with ours.
Norris Funeral Services and Crematory.
BTW 21, your neighborhood network, the only local channel with a certified meteorologist. Join Kip Wallace and Jamie Singleton at 6 and 11.
Max has got mulch. That's right. Max Kendall Lumber at 10 has got mulch. And they've got one of the lowest prices in town. You simply just bring your pickup truck and Max will fill it up right on the spot. Or Max will deliver it to your location. Max is easy to get to. From Martinsville, just go 57 east, just travel 10 miles. When you get to Mountain Valley, turn right on Route 647 and go down that road for just 1 mile and you'll see Max Kendall Lumber and 10. If you're traveling from Danville or Eden, you come to Axton on Route 58 and then turn right on Route 647. Max Kendall Lumber is just 8 miles away. Or simply call Max toll-free at 1-888-434-2825 or locally at 276-650-2825 or visit them on the web at www.maxkendalllumber.com.
Max Kendall has got the mulch.
Max has got mulch at one of the best prices in town.
All right, welcome back. Now, before we went to commercial break, we were talking about when CPS gets a call of sexual assault, what usually happens next. So, with that being said, when a CPS does get a call of sexual assault, does the sexual assault get reported to the hospital and law enforcement? Or
Okay, no, immediately it is reported to law enforcement and to our prosecutor's office because we immediately begin the interview process. We also work closely with Franklin Memorial Hospital,
Yes.
and we have forensic nurses that have been trained in examining children for child sexual abuse. So
And that's the process for Patrick County. We
That
have it
is-
a little bit different here in Martinsville and,
so,
Henry County.
we used to take our children before Franklin County started their forensic interviews. We took our children to Brenner Children's Hospital. Dr. Seinel, excellent physician and an expert in child sexual abuse, and we took all of our children there for forensic exams.
Where's that located at?
That's
That was
in
before my
Winston.
time, I
That's
think.
in Winston-Salem.
Oh, gosh.
At Brenner Children's Hospital. In Winston-Salem, I mean, it's only a 45, 50-minute drive from Patrick County.
Okay.
Franklin County is probably the same distance. But now we have hooked in with Memorial Hospital here, and we can get into that facility immediately upon the call. So, and they're also on,
Our SWAT team.
yes.
The
And so-
forensic nurse from
Yes.
Franklin County is, yes.
So yes, the hospital is involved, but it takes specialized training in gathering evidence for child sexual abuse, and that's
Right,
why we
most
do the
definitely.
forensic interview and the forensic medical exam.
So that way everything, it's a very consistent
Yes.
process with Patrick County, and I know. Okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
So once these investigation steps have taken place, you know, you've talked with law enforcement, the prosecutor's office, you've gone to the hospital for the forensic exam. What's going on next?
And then we're immediately interviewing the victim. We have to interview all the siblings within the home to make sure that they are safe, they have not been victimized. Of course, we interview the non-perpetrating parent, and then we immediately interview the alleged perpetrator. Now this happens bang, 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 bang. I mean, it's very, very quick because we don't want the alleged perpetrator to know, oh, they're going to come and question me. I mean, everything is done in a very flowing manner.
Right.
And we're very blessed because we work very, very well with our sheriff's department, and everybody works in our prosecutor's office. So we all work as a team, and it just kind of flows. But also, not only are we doing the investigation and trying to gather evidence, the worker is also doing an assessment to see if all the children, including the victim, is safe to remain in that environment. They are looking at what services are immediately needed to help the family cope with this situation. So we not only are doing the interviews, we're also assessing the situation, what services are needed, and we immediately start providing services to the family.
Well, that's awesome. So pretty much like we do, you start referring to appropriate agencies that need to come in and help provide
Correct.
services.
And we
then
often
on
do
the
that
case.
we often call you all to say, hey, this is what we have.
Right,
Can you come in and help?
right. And I think that's a really important piece of the process, because even once you all have completed your investigation during that 45 days and then close the folder, our agency can continue to work with this family and continue to help them through the
support and
process and
counsel.
support them and counsel with them. And as we try to, let everybody know, our services are free, our services are confidential and non-judgmental. So we're just
Right.
here to help provide services and to help coordinate along with you all.
And if it is a founded, which means there is evidence to state, yes, this act did happen, we do not close the investigation is closed, but we must provide ongoing services. So a social worker does provide services to make sure that the family is receiving the services that are needed to keep the family together and to help them become healthy.
Okay.
And that's great, because any type of assault or anything dealing with your children, a lot of times, it can be very devastating and an emotional roller coaster. And after
Yes.
the process, even after the investigation, and a lot of times court can take a long time before that
Yes.
happens, depending on what all has to be investigated. The family needs those people. That's great that your social workers come in and still work with the family, and that we're there to support them too, because they're going to definitely need that. Every day will be different.
Yes.
With emotions.
So we just have one more question, and this
Okay.
can kind of get involved sometimes, but we want you to kind of help us with this. What exactly is a mandated reporter?
Okay. In the Code of Virginia, there are certain professionals that must report child sexual abuse and or any felonies against a child. And if they do not, they can be fined, and that would be up to the juvenile court system. Those mandated reporters are social workers, doctors, nurses, coaches being grade school coaches, middle school coaches, high school coaches, college coaches. The law is very specific. If you suspect, and the word is, you don't have evidence, you just suspect, you must report it to Child Protective Services immediately, as well as to law enforcement.
I want to interject there. Our agency is also a mandated reporter.
You're a mandated reporter. Therapists are mandated reporters. I know I'm leading.
Preachers, pastors,
No.
Church officials are.
Okay. School teachers, anybody employed with the public school system must report. School bus drivers must report. And of course, school systems may have a system that if you suspect, you have to go through the chain, but school employees must report. I wrote them down because I knew I'd forget somebody. Let's see. Daycare providers must report. Law enforcement must report. So teachers, coaches, social workers, therapists, law enforcement, employees of the school system, eligibility workers, doctors, nurses, any health professional must report child sexual abuse to the Department of Social Services.
But we're not the only ones that can report. If there's
Anyone.
a family member that suspects
Yes.
something, then it should be
That's what I was getting ready to
reported.
say. I encourage anyone,
yes.
no matter if you have a job in that category at all, just a parent or just a citizen, if you suspect something, of course report it. You can report it anonymously.
Yes.
I understand it.
Yes.
You don't have to give your name. Just if you suspect something, protect that child.
And
Definitely so.
and if you have any questions, is this going on or not? Give us a call,
Let
and
y'all
just
find out.
and it's up to us to determine whether or not we have a valid complaint. That is our job. So any questions or concerns, pick up the phone and call us.
Right.
That's great. Would you like to give out the number to social services? Do you
Okay.
have that just in
With-
case anybody?
Okay. With Patrick County Department of Social Services, our main line is 276-694-3328. Now, we're only open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5, but there's a social worker on call 7 days a week, every day of the year.
And that will be the same for Martinsville
And
Henry County as well.
Martinsville, their number is 656-4300. Also, there's a state child abuse hotline that anybody can call that 24 hours a day, any day of the year. And that number is 1-800-552-7096. So if we're closed, you can call the child abuse hotline. That number is also in the phone book. They will immediately call the social worker on call. Every Department of Social Services has a worker on call 7 days a week, every day of the year.
Then also, if anybody has any questions of concern or, is not sure of those phone numbers, our agency also has a hotline. It's a 24-hour hotline, 365 days a year, and that is 276-632-8701. And our hotline is also available because as being mandated reporters, we can help. We can also make the report, but we can also help people in getting information and getting to the right agencies that they need as well.
So we'll all do this together.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dawn, for coming on the show today.
Sure.
And all this great information. I've actually learned a lot today as well. So thank you very much. And we're going to have to close up for today. But thank you for coming on the show and giving us the information.
And thank you for having us.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you very much. And stay safe, guys. And we'll see you next Tuesday.
Goodyear, everything we've learned making tires for Hollywood stunt drivers inspires what we roll into yours. Assurance Comfort Tread Touring, refined handling for a smooth ride. Goodyear, more driven.